Good morning, small players. Today is Thursday, March 10th, and here we are again analyzing our morning gappers in the pre-market trading session. For anyone that's new, this is the Thinkorswim platform by TD Ameritrade, and we're looking at the pre-market charts. Pre-market trading starts at 4 a.m. for institutions, 7 a.m. for retail investors, and all of the dark area here is after hours from the previous trading day and pre-market today. This line is the difference between last night and this morning. So the first stock on the scanner is HYMC. This one is on the cheaper side, but still within the range of what we like to trade because it's close enough to $1. So we could, see a push to try and get one. Oops. So what we do now is we just find the key areas of support and resistance, and we draw them on the chart, and then we use these to make trade plans. So here, it's a little choppy. It has a lot of close resistances, which makes it harder to trade a breakout versus a bounce. So it was trading this EMA 20 line very nicely, but now that it's below it, this EMA 20 line is going to serve as resistance. So a break above that EMA 20 could start a move, a squeeze. We'll just see where it descends because right now it's on 78 cents and then you have VWAP on 79. So if you trade a breakout above EMA 20, you can hit right into VWAP and you don't really have enough room to trade safely because VWAP will also serve as resistance. So to me, I feel like I would rather maybe wait for the stock to get above EMA 20 or VWAP and just trade a bounce on either one. So I guess a reclaim is what I call that, but it's, when a stock is below a level of resistance and gets above that and then drops down to test that level as support and bounces back up, that's a reclaim. So that would maybe be a trade I would trust more. Based on past data and based on the chart, I make a determination whether I would rather trade a breakout or a bounce on a stock just in terms of what looks safer. And on this one, a bounce looks a little safer than a breakout, only because there's no clear levels. I mean, we have here 835. Maybe a break above 835 could start some squeeze. We can mark that on the chart, but I feel like still, because then you could find a wall here, so it's all safer trade a bounce. Okay, PT, another stock below $1. We've been getting a lot of these lately. Just to see, for example, this one has a little bit of a clearer level because the high here is 67 and the high here is 67 and here. So he had sort of a flat top on 67. It built up a lot of resistance there. Once it broke above it, it had a massive squeeze. Once it touched it down, it had a bounce. Right? Resistance turns support. So it's definitely a very key level. So when you have a level like that, it's so much easier to trade because you can expect it to really react to it because it's reacted to it before. Now that it's tested it really twice, these are sort of like two bounces, I wouldn't trust it again for a bounce. The more these levels get tested, the weaker they are. And then also we have this EMA 20, which it was trailing nicely. It kept bouncing on it and bouncing on it and bouncing on it. Now that it went below it, it's a clear level of resistance. See all these candles rejecting it. So we could potentially trade a break above this EMA 20 line. The problem being you have these two candles that try to break it. This one's specifically problematic to me because it did it with a lot of volume. So you could have gotten stuck into a false breakout or fake out, what we like to call it. It makes it a little trickier. We can definitely watch how much volume it gets and maybe trade like a reclaim of EMA 20, what we discussed. So break above that and drop down, testing as support and bounce back up, or a break above VWAP. PT. neither one of these I'm super excited about at the moment just because of the chart. Now, this is a chart I like. This is IMPP. I've been trading this stock so much, and this is a good chart. So, you know, it's above EMA 20, above VWAP, making these 5-minute flags constantly. Oof. Some mornings I'm just so silly with my making these 5-minute flags constantly, which are my favorite setup, which are these guys. Even this is a flag, this is a flag, and it's forming one now. So all the flags have had a nice resolution. So we can actually make a trade plan for the current flag. The further the flag is from VWAP, the more extended the stock is and the riskier the trade because it could potentially go down and test VWAP. So let's see, the high of this candle is 5.6. So flag break entry would be break above 5.6. So 561 is our entry trigger. A stop loss can just be the low of that candle, 5.49, and then we can do here, what is this, 5.7, 5.75. Then we have ENSV. I like this one too, again, above VMA 20, above VWAP. Did this one just get some news this morning? Oh, 7 a.m. Not really. It's just an industry move with all the commodities. Which is fine. It's what we've been trading mostly for the past couple of weeks. And that's, you know, all that has been moving. Oh my God, in this chart. Okay, so this one, VWAP bounces are valid. It's trying to do one now. 5-minute flag raise also behaved nicely. Every single one had a good resolution. This one was a little, it did go up, but it hit a wall here. So what is the high there? 390, no, 401. If we do 401, then we have, so we could potentially trade a break above 401 here. It might be a little safer than a flat 5-minute flag break because this one was iffy. But normally when I see a bad flag break like that, I feel like it needs to drop more. So at least this EMA 20 line, I feel like it needs to drop so it can get some buyers to help it. And if not, that's not enough. Let's see some levels from yesterday. This is a big level from yesterday. 375. See this rejection, this rejection, this rejection. Big level. Then this one. Yeah, basically, when you have a fake breakout like that, it just shows that there's not enough long bias traders and that shorts are strong. So ideally, when you see something like that, you would love to see a drop because then, you know, buyers will be waiting on support and we need more buyers to help us beat the shorts in this area here. So yeah, so we could potentially trade a break above 410. A little tricky because the high of this candle is 415. The high of this candle is 419. This one's 413. So there's a lot of close resistances. You can keep getting walls. Or a 5-minute flag break. And, you know, it just depends on the volume. This one had a lot of volume, but it didn't have increase in volume based on the previous candle. So it looks like a lot of longs bought VWAP and then they didn't really buy the flag break. They sort of just sold. So the second one here it's already getting more volume, right? It's breaking it currently. And we didn't get that sort of volume on VWAP. So could potentially work out. Sometimes the second one does more than the first one with these flag breaks. But you always want to try and avoid being what we call a fake out. So you wait for some sort of a confirmation, and sometimes that means buying higher, or sometimes that means missing out trades, right? And this one seems to be fighting for a lot, right? Let's see if it goes back down to test 4. Again, that's not gonna be good. Also, it opened up a spread, which is also not good because it's harder to trade. It'll definitely set up a safe trade for us today. I feel like with this sort of chart, we'll trade it at some point, but we don't have to rush to trade it immediately. Okay, the clock break actually, the candle closed and it held 4, so this is okay. If we can, if you can get a safe entry, because you still have the spread of 2 to 3 cents, which is significant for a stock like this when you're chasing 5-cent profits, right? If you have a 3-cent spread, that's eating out in your profit significantly. But this is a valid flag break at this point. The volume on this candle is twice the volume on this one. And then it held 4, which is a big psychological level, which was fighting, and it was also the breakout area. So the high of this candle is 399. When you have a flag break that, the break is high, break above 399, which is 4. Safer entries like 401, because 4 is such a psychological number, it could serve as resistance. And then if it's very hesitant, because sometimes, they break and they just go. But if it's very hesitant and you don't know what to do, my rule of thumb is I don't want it to go below the breakout area, because that shows weakness. So if my breakout was 4 and it was holding it, and it did, it tried it a couple times and found buyers there, that just tells me that more long bias traders are looking at the same price of the flag break and are buying the flag break. And then that was confirmed by volume, so that's your confirmation. And in trading, you can never predict the future, right? So you could still have all those signs that it's not a fake out. You waited for volume, you waited for confirmation, you bought higher just to be sure, and you can still lose on the trade, because that's what trading is. No one can predict the future. You can just do all your analysis all you want, and sometimes you did nothing wrong. Sometimes you lose money because you did something wrong, and that happens more in the beginning. But then as you start learning, there's going to be times when you did nothing wrong, but the trade just didn't work out the way you expected it, and that's okay. That's part of trading. So it's very important to not take those things personally and feel like you have to be right. That's why we have stop losses in place, because there are times when the trade is not going to go on our way, just normal. It's part of trading, and that's why we have stop losses. So we just get stopped out, and we could end up entering the same trade right away in the next 5 minutes when it sets up another setup that we can trust more. So no hard feelings to the stock, no hard feelings to you, and definitely don't trade with the expectation that you're supposed to be right. I know a lot of people that have lost a lot of money being stubborn, saying, but I have to be right. I thought the stock was going to go up, and it has to go up, and I'm going to hold it through anything, and then they end up, blowing up their account. This one has not really had a bounce on Bebop yet. It's sort of been bouncing on air and tested this level a lot of 875. So I wouldn't trust that level as support anymore, because this is 1, 2, 3 tests of support. That's normally a short setup. Now, a break of Bebop would be nice. My hesitation with that is that it's too close to that level of 875, which we know was tested many times. So we could either, wait for this level here of 86-ish, or the high here of 838. It's also the CMA 50, so like 841 area. That would be a very nice drop for our trades, just to trust this more, because this level I don't trust. Otherwise, we can trade a break above 9, which would be a nice move to this level of 914 and 92, and then break above 2 would be an add, because that could squeeze more shorts. So for right now, let's set the alert for break above 9. We can also make that trade plan, because it still has buyers. Buyers are still buying this, so it's probably harder to let them... it's harder for them to allow it to drop. So maybe if it breaks above 1, gets here, shorts are going to hit it again. That's going to be a test of resistance. So maybe then they'll slam it down and we can buy it again here. But a break above 9 would still be a valid trade. So break above 9, then what is this here? 887. Okay, so we can do 884, 915, 92. And this And this sort of thing, we do all day long. The pre-market session is very important, because this is when you have the time to go through all the stocks and analyze the charts and make your trade plans for the day. You don't necessarily have to trade pre-market. We tend to trade pre-market if there is enough volume in the stock and if there is a little spread. There are good opportunities to take advantage of, but it's not necessary. The most important thing in the pre-market session is analyzing the charts, so you're prepared for the day. Because if you roll up to your computer at 9:29 and expect to start trading at 9:30, you won't know where to start. You won't know what the levels are on these stocks. And this is TLSA. This is a very nice bounce on EMA 20. Volume's still a little low, but besides that bounce, which is past now, I'll trade a break above VWAP, which is also a break above 1, which is a big level for these stocks. TLSA. USVS, USWS. We've traded this one. I like it normally. This morning looks like it's barcoding a little bit. So based on yesterday's chart, it looks like this level of 161 was key. Had a very nice bounce there. And then shorts probably started shorting here on VWAP, really. But then when it broke below that 1.6, it really fell off a cliff. So we're above VWAP now, and we have some squeezing, but VWAP shorts that started shorting it here on 1.8, even though it's above VWAP now, they're still in profit, so it's not that necessary for them to start squeezing. So I'm going to set an alert for this one for break above 161, which is this candle here. And I went through there because I would expect to start squeezing out some shorts there, and then if it does break above 2, it can probably squeeze out more of them.